People think horror starts with screams. It doesn't. It starts with silence. My name is Ethan Miller. What I'm about to tell you happened 3 years ago. I've never talked about it publicly. Whenever I tried, people smiled politely and said things like, "You were probably tired," or "Your mind was playing tricks on you." For a long time, I believed that too. Until the last night. It was late, close to midnight, when our car turned off Route 87. The road behind us was empty, except for a gas station light flickering far back in the distance. Claire sat beside me. She kept refreshing the map on her phone even though it hadn't updated in a long time. "No signal," she said. Her voice sounded wrong out there. Flat. Like sound didn't travel properly in the dark. We were supposed to reach a city before midnight. Instead, a wrong turn led to another, and then the GPS froze completely. The road narrowed. Trees pressed in on both sides, close enough that their branches brushed the car. That's when we saw the sign. Half broken. Rusted. Hanging at an angle. Hollow Creek Hotel. Vacancy. A single yellow bulb buzzed above it, insects throwing themselves against the glass. Claire looked at me. "I don't like this." Neither did I. But the fuel gauge was almost empty, and my phone was dead. "We'll just sleep a few hours," I said. "Leave at sunrise." She didn't answer. The hotel appeared slowly, like it had been there the whole time and we were only just allowed to notice it. 2 stories tall. Long and narrow. White paint peeling away in strips. Most of the windows were dark. No curtains. Just black. The parking lot was empty. Except for one car. An old sedan, parked crooked near the entrance. Its windows were fogged from the inside, even though the night air was cold. "That's weird," Claire whispered. I parked a few spaces away. When I shut off the engine, the silence felt heavy. No insects. No wind. Just the ticking sound of the car cooling down. Then we heard it. Click, click, click. Claire stiffened. "Did you hear that?" I nodded. It sounded like fingernails tapping against plastic. Slow. Deliberate. Somewhere near the building. We stepped out of the car. The sound stopped. I told myself it was nothing, loose wiring, an old sign, maybe an insect trapped somewhere. But even after it stopped, I kept listening for it. Inside, the lobby smelled like dust and metal, like old coins. A single lamp lit the front desk. Behind it sat a man. He was thin. Unnaturally thin. His uniform looked decades old, worn soft from too many washes. "Checking in?" he asked. He blinked once. Slowly. "Yes," I said. "Just for the night." He slid a key across the counter. Not a card. A real key. Heavy. Cold. "Room 12, he said. "Second floor." Claire leaned closer. "Ask about the other car." I cleared my throat. "Is anyone else staying here?" The man paused. Just long enough for my stomach to tighten. "Yes," he said. "They arrived earlier." The way he said they made my skin crawl. Upstairs, the hallway lights flickered on one by one as we walked, like the building was waking up reluctantly. Room 12 was at the far end. When I unlocked the door, the clicking sound came back. Click, click, click. Closer now. Inside, the room looked normal. Too normal. Clean bed. Old television. The bathroom light was already on, humming softly. Claire sat on the bed. "I don't think we should stay." I tried to laugh, but my eyes kept drifting to the window. The curtains were slightly open. Through the glass, I could see the other car. Its interior light was on. Someone was inside. Then, slowly, the clicking stopped. The car door opened. But no one stepped out. The interior light shut off. At the exact same moment, someone knocked on our door. 3 slow knocks. Knock. 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 I realized I wasn't breathing. "Ethan," Claire whispered. "Don't open it." I reached for the handle anyway. Because from the other side of the door, a familiar voice spoke. My voice. "Ethan," it said calmly. "Open the door. We're already late." For a moment, neither of us moved. The door stood between us and whatever was outside. Thin wood. Too thin. My hand hovered inches from the handle, stuck halfway between thinking and acting. Claire grabbed my wrist. "Ethan, that wasn't you." I nodded. I knew that. But my body didn't listen. The voice had been perfect. Same tone. Same timing. Even the small pause I always make before saying her name. Outside, the hallway was silent again. No footsteps. No breathing. No clicking. Just the low hum of the lights overhead. Slowly, I leaned toward the door and pressed my ear against it. I could only hear my own heartbeat. Loud. Uneven. "Hello?" I said. My voice sounded weak. Smaller than it should have. No answer. I stepped back. Probably someone messing around. Maybe the other guest. Claire didn't believe that. She locked the door, then moved to the window. "That car's gone." "What?" I crossed the room and looked out. The parking space was empty. No headlights. No tire tracks. Just dark asphalt reflecting the hotel lights. "How does a car leave without making a sound?" she asked. I didn't know. We kept the lights on. The TV wouldn't work, only static, even though the power light stayed on. Claire sat on the bed, knees pulled to her chest. I paced. That's when we heard it again. Click, click, click. This time, it wasn't outside. It was inside the room. Quiet. Steady. Like something tapping from behind the walls. Claire looked at me, eyes wide. "Tell me you hear that." "I hear it." We followed the sound to the bathroom. It seemed to come from behind the mirror. I tapped the glass with my knuckles. The clicking stopped instantly. We waited. Then. Click. Right behind us. We turned. Nothing had changed. The bed was untouched. Curtains still. Door locked. "Ethan," Claire whispered, "this place isn't right." I checked my phone. No signal. I tried an emergency call anyway. Nothing. Then the room phone rang. We both jumped. It rang again. The sound was sharp, old, like the phone hadn't been used in years. I picked it up. "Front desk," the man said calmly. "Everything okay in your room?" I hesitated. Someone knocked on our door. And there's a sound. Inside the walls. A pause. "Yes," he said. "That happens." Claire mouthed, "What happens?" "You'll need to stay inside your room tonight," the man continued. "No matter what you hear." My stomach tightened. "Hear what?" Another pause. "Good night." The line went dead. I slammed the phone down. "What did he say?" Claire asked. "That we shouldn't leave the room." Her face drained of color. "That's not comforting." The clicking came back. Louder now. Faster. Click, click, click. It moved along the wall. Following us. Like something crawling between layers of the building. I pressed my back against the wall. This isn't possible. The bathroom light flickered. Once. Twice. Then it went out. From the darkness, a voice spoke. Claire's voice. "Ethan?" She froze beside me. "I'm right here," she whispered. The voice from the bathroom sounded confused. Hurt. Why did you leave me? The clicking turned into scratching. Something dragged slowly along the inside of the wall, like fingernails scraping wood. I pulled Claire toward the bed. Don't answer it. The bathroom door creaked open by itself. Inside, it was completely dark. Then the mirror caught something. Not us. The reflection showed the room empty. Lights off. Bed untouched. And in the corner stood a shape. Almost human. Almost. Too tall. Arms hanging wrong. Head tilted at an angle that hurt to look at. The reflection smiled. Claire screamed. The mirror shattered. Glass exploded across the bathroom floor. The clicking stopped. Silence rushed in so fast my ears rang. We didn't sleep. We sat back to back on the bed until the darkness outside the window turned gray. When the sun rose, the hotel felt smaller. Less heavy. At 6:12 a.m. we packed without speaking. The hallway was bright when we opened the door. Quiet. Normal. The front desk was empty. No man. No keys. No record book. Just dust. Outside, our car was the only one in the lot. As we drove away, Claire finally spoke. When that thing used my voice, it knew things. Like what? She swallowed. Things I never told you. The hotel disappeared in the mirror behind us. But the clicking didn't. That night, in our apartment, lying in bed, I heard it again. Click, click, click. Inside the walls. And that's when I understood. We didn't leave Hollow Creek Hotel. Something from it came with us. I didn't tell Claire about the dream. Because if I did, I knew it would make it real. That first night back in the city, I lay awake staring at the ceiling, listening to the building. Pipes knocked. Floors creaked. Walls hummed. Apartments make noises, you learn that. But this wasn't normal. Click, click, click. It came in threes. Always in threes. Slow. Careful. Like whatever was making the sound didn't want to be noticed, just heard. I turned to Claire. She was asleep, or pretending. Her breathing was shallow and uneven. When I gently touched her shoulder, she flinched. You hear it too, I whispered. She nodded without opening her eyes. We stayed quiet until morning. Over the next few days, things started to slip. Not dramatically. Not like in the movies. Just enough to make us doubt ourselves. Claire found a muddy footprint by the bathroom sink. Too large to be hers. Too narrow to be mine. When I went to look, it was gone. The TV turned on by itself at exactly 12:17 a.m. every night. Always static. Always the same volume. Sometimes, only sometimes, when I walked past the hallway mirror, my reflection didn't match me at once. There was a delay. Like it needed time to catch up. Claire stopped laughing. Stopped humming. She began checking locks repeatedly, even during the day. One evening she asked me something strange. Ethan, what room were we in at the hotel? Room 12, I said immediately. She frowned. That's not what I remember. What do you mean? I remember it being room 9. We argued longer than we should have. Both of us were certain. Both remembered details that didn't line up. That night, the clicking moved closer. Not in the walls. Under the bed. I checked. I wish I hadn't. Nothing there, but the dust had been disturbed. Lines dragged across the floor, as if something had been slowly pulled. I backed away, heart racing. Claire froze near the door. Ethan, listen. From the kitchen came the sound of a drawer opening. Then closing. We stood still. The apartment was locked. Windows shut. I grabbed a knife from the counter. Hello? Silence. Then a voice, soft, familiar. Claire's voice. Ethan, I'm in the kitchen. She was right behind me. I turned slowly. She stared at me, eyes wide with terror. That wasn't me. The kitchen light flickered on. Empty. Except for the drawer. It was open. Inside lay a hotel key. Heavy. Old. Cold. Room 12. I felt sick. The next morning, Claire was gone. Not missing, gone. Her phone on the nightstand. Shoes by the door. No struggle. No note. Bed neatly made, as if she'd never slept there. The police came, asked questions again and again. Took notes. Found nothing. One officer looked at me like he'd seen this before, but didn't explain. Days passed. The clicking stopped. That scared me more than anything. One evening I returned to the apartment to find the hallway mirror covered with a sheet. I don't remember doing that. When I pulled it away, my reflection smiled. I didn't. It spoke. You left her. My mouth went dry. Who are you? The reflection tilted its head, too far. You brought us out. Us? There were 2 rooms that night. 2 doors. Memories rushed in, wrong ones. A second hallway. A door I don't remember opening. A room without windows. A sound like breathing inside the walls. What did you do to Claire? I whispered. The reflection leaned closer. She checked out. The mirror cracked down the center. Behind me, the apartment door opened. Footsteps. I turned, heart pounding. Claire stood there. Normal. Smiling. You okay? She asked. You look pale. Relief hit me, but it was short-lived. I ran to her, pulled her into a hug. She felt cold. Too cold. I was worried, I said. You disappeared. She frowned. I went to work. Ethan, are you feeling all right? I stepped back. Something was wrong. Her eyes blinked slightly out of sync. Her smile stayed too long. That night, as she slept, I heard the clicking again. Right beside me. I didn't move. Didn't breathe. Then I felt her hand touch mine. And a whisper in the dark that wasn't her voice. Only one of you left the hotel. I didn't confront her. Not right away. If this thing, whatever it was, could copy voices, memories, even emotions, then accusing it felt dangerous. Like stepping off a cliff and hoping there was ground. So I acted normal. I went to work. I made coffee. I nodded through conversations I barely heard. And I watched Claire. She remembered things differently. Not wrong. Just shifted. Like she'd learned our life from someone else's notes. She called my mother Susan. My mother's name is Linda. She laughed at stories that never happened. Forgot the ones that mattered, and she never mentioned the hotel. I started writing things down. Notes on my phone. Times. Sounds. Every night at exactly 12:17 a.m. the clicking came back. Click, click, click. Always 3. One night, I stayed awake on purpose. At 12:17, Claire sat up in bed. Her eyes opened, but she didn't look awake. They're knocking, she whispered. Who? I asked. The ones who stayed. My blood went cold. Stayed where? She turned to me and smiled. That same wrong, patient smile. In the walls. The next morning, I skipped work and drove back toward Route 87. I don't know why. Maybe part of me thought I could fix it. Or maybe something was pulling me back. The road was easier to find this time. Too easy. But when I reached the place where Hollow Creek Hotel should have been, there was nothing. No building. No parking lot. Just trees. An old wooden sign lay half buried in dirt. Hollow Creek, closed 1998. I stared at it until my eyes burned. You shouldn't have checked out. I turned. The clerk stood behind me. Same thin frame. Same eyes that barely blinked. His uniform was torn now, dark stains around the collar. There was a fire, he said calmly. 16 guests. 2 staff. My throat tightened. We stayed there. He nodded. You always do. What does that mean? He stepped closer. 1 leaves. 1 stays. That's the rule. And Claire? He smiled. The first real smile I'd seen. She made her choice. I woke up screaming in my car. The sun was setting. I don't remember falling asleep. When I got home, the apartment lights were off. The air felt heavy. Old. Like no one had lived there in a long time. Claire sat at the kitchen table. She was crying. They're calling me, she said. From the walls. I approached slowly. Claire, do you remember the hotel? Her hand shook. I remember a room with no door. My heart dropped. And I remember you leaving. The clicking grew louder. Not just in the walls. In the ceiling. In the floor. In her throat. They say only one can stay out, she whispered. And you've been out too long. I backed away. You're not real. Her face hardened. No, she said quietly. You're not. The hallway mirror shattered. Reflections spilled across the floor, dozens of versions of us, all slightly wrong. The clerk's voice echoed through the apartment. Checkout time is now. The walls began to breathe. Doors appeared where none had been before. The apartment stretched, twisting into a hallway I recognized. Hotel carpet. Faded numbers. Room 12 at the end. Claire stood in front of it. You left me there, she said, tears running down her face. You chose yourself. That's not true, I said. She opened the door. Inside was darkness. And the clicking, endless, hungry. She stepped inside. The door started to close. I grabbed her hand. For a moment, we were both screaming. Then she smiled. And let go. The hallway vanished. I was alone in my apartment again. Silence. The clicking was gone. I thought it was over. Until I looked down at my hand. In my palm lay the hotel key. Room 12. Still warm. I tried to throw the key away. I really did. Just before dawn, I drove to the river and stood on the bridge while the city slept. I held the key between my fingers. It felt heavier than it should have. Like it didn't want to leave me. When I let go, I felt relief. Until I heard it hit the ground behind me. I didn't turn around. I didn't need to. I went home and packed a bag. I told myself I'd leave the city. Start over somewhere quiet. Somewhere normal. Somewhere without walls that listened. As I zipped the bag, the TV turned on. Static. Then an image pushed through the noise. Security footage. Black and white. A hotel hallway. I knew it instantly. Hollow Creek. The timestamp blinked in the corner, 2:13 a.m. 2 figures stood outside room 12. Me. And Claire. But something was wrong. Claire was crying, pounding on the door. And I was calm. Too calm. I watched myself take the key from her hand. I watched myself step back. I watched the door close on her. No, I whispered. That's not how it happened. The footage changed. Another camera. Another hallway. This time I was inside the room. Screaming. Begging. Banging on the door. Claire stood outside, holding the key. Smiling. The screen went black. The clicking started again. Not in the walls. Inside my head. Memories came back. Not new ones, old ones I had buried because they didn't fit the story I needed to survive. The truth was simple. And unbearable. We didn't both leave the hotel. We never do. Hollow Creek doesn't copy people. It swaps them. One stays. One goes. But the one who goes isn't always the original. I stumbled into the bathroom and stared at the mirror. My reflection blinked a second too late. You figured it out, it said. Which one am I? I asked. It smiled, almost kindly. The one who tells the story. 3 slow knocks came from the apartment door. Knock, 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 I already knew. The clerk stood there, his burned uniform hanging off him like old skin. Checkout time, he said gently. You've been very busy. What happens now? I asked. He stepped aside. Behind him stretched the hotel hallway. Endless doors. Endless rooms. Endless clicking. You go back, he said. And someone else takes your place. Who? He tilted his head. Whoever's listening. That's why I'm telling you this. Because Hollow Creek Hotel still exists. It appears when you're tired. When you're lost. When you just need one night to rest. And if you ever hear a soft clicking sound in a quiet place. Not loud, not threatening, just patient. Don't follow it. Because the last guest always leaves a room open. And this time, it won't be me. Click, click, click.